Before modern muscle ever tried to reclaim the throne, one car had already perfected the art of attitude, the 1970 Camaro RS, split bumper, long hood, pure aggression. This isn't just a classic, it's the car that rewrote the rulebook. What's up everyone? Subscribe my channel, and today we're diving into one of the most iconic muscle machines ever to roll out of Detroit, the 1970 Chevrolet Camaro RS. Now, when people talk about classic American performance, they usually throw around big names like the Chevrolet SS, the Dodge Challenger, or the Pontiac GTO, but the 7.2 Camaro RS sits in a category all its own, blending aggressive looks, a revolutionary redesign, and a spirit of pure rebellion that defined an entire generation of car lovers. This car isn't just a machine, it's a statement, a symbol, and a reminder of a time when horsepower battles raged on the streets, the tracks, and in the hearts of anyone who craved the thrill of raw mechanical power. The 1970 model year wasn't just another update for the Camaro, it was a complete transformation. Chevy didn't hold anything back. Instead of continuing the first gen's already successful formula, Chevrolet took a bold risk and redesigned the Camaro from the ground up. This new second-generation design brought sleeker lines, a wider stance, deeper curves, and an almost exotic European influence while still screaming American muscle from every angle. And sitting at the top of the style hierarchy was the RS package, Raleigh Sport, the version everyone notices first and remembers forever. It introduced the legendary split bumper design, perhaps the single most recognizable front end treatment of any Camaro ever produced. Those slim chrome bumpers sitting on either side of the recessed grille turned the car's face into something fierce, almost predatory, like it was ready to pounce on the road ahead. But the RS wasn't just about looks. It came with hidden wipers, round parking lamps, and special trim that set it apart from the base model and even from the SS. When you saw a real RS from the front, you knew it instantly. It wasn't pretending to be anything. It wasn't borrowing styling from something else. It was forging its own identity, one that would go on to become a cultural icon across movies, TV, video games, and the dreams of every young gearhead who grew up wanting to build or own their perfect muscle car. Even today, when a split bumper 70 rolls through a car meet, people stop what they're doing. They look, they stare, they admire. It's not just nostalgia, it's respect. And let's talk about engines, because a Camaro isn't a Camaro without power under the hood. The 70 Camaro came with a wide range of engine options, but those who wanted real muscle chose the V8s. The small blocks delivered strong performance, but the big block 396, actually 402 cubic inches, was the heavyweight champion of the lineup. Even though it wasn't common, and even though Chevy only produced a limited number, that big block power plant turned the RS-equipped cars into absolute legends. When you hear people talk about custom builds, strokers, or modified big blocks, that's because the Camaro platform practically begs to be turned into something wild. People take these cars and push them beyond the limits Chevy ever intended, stroking, boring, swapping, and tuning until the car's power becomes nearly mythic. The reason the 1970 Camaro RS stands out so much today isn't just because of its design or its engines. It's because it represents an era where cars weren't overcomplicated. They didn't need computers, sensors, or digital driving modes. They didn't make excuses. They were pure, they were loud, they were fast, they were simple, and they were honest. When you pressed the accelerator, you felt everything. The vibrations, the roar, the push back into your seat. It wasn't artificial. It wasn't generated through speakers. It was real mechanical feedback from an engine built with iron, sweat, and old-school American engineering. The interior kept things straightforward too. No flashy touchscreens, no AI assistance, no ACO mode. Instead, you got bucket seats, a 3-spoke steering wheel, mechanical gauges, and a driving position that wrapped around you like the cockpit of a fighter jet. The long hood, the low roofline, and the wide stance made the driver feel connected to the road. Every bump, every turn, every shift was part of the experience. And when you pair that with the sound of a V8 echoing through the streets, you begin to understand why the 1970 Camaro RS is still one of the most desired classic muscle cars on the planet. Collectors pay massive money today for, well, restored RS models, especially those paired with SS or Z28 equipment. But even a shell, even a project car with rust eating through the floorboards and no engine in sight still holds serious value. Why? because people see potential. They see the story they want to create. They see the dream they want to build. This car isn't just steel and chrome. It's a canvas. It's a memory. It's a legend that refuses to die. And here's the thing. Every 1970 Camaro RS has a personality. Some have been babied their whole lives, stored under covers, polished until they gleam like mirrors. Others have been raced, abused, rebuilt, wrecked, revived, and pushed harder than any car deserves. But each one carries history. Each one carries attitude. And anyone who owns one will tell you that the feeling of driving a split bumper Camaro isn't something you can describe. It's something you have to experience. When you see a 1970 Camaro RS cruising down the street, you're not just looking at a car. You're looking at a survivor from a time when America built machines that were loud, proud, and unapologetically aggressive. You're looking at a piece of rolling art. You're looking at a machine that represents freedom, rebellion, passion, craftsmanship, and raw power. This car doesn't ask for attention, it demands it. So if you love classic muscle, if you love the thrill of pure horsepower, and if you appreciate the beauty of a perfectly sculpted automotive icon, then you already know why the 1970 Chevrolet Camaro RS will always be one of the greatest cars ever built. What's up, everyone? Subscribe my channel for more deep dives into legendary rides, classic performance, and the machines that shaped car culture forever. Let's keep this passion alive and continue celebrating the one of a kind cars that changed automotive history.